this becomes a deeper meaning for him because he shared the backfield with his best friend. So now Najee's taking on the full ownership of, Tua's playing through me. We continue the conversation right now, people, on the hottest show in the streets, best form of Alabama football news, notes, and information. What's going on? Yours truly, your man in studio, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Be sure, as always, to drop a thumbs up, a like on the show, and hit that subscribe button. That lets us know, even though we're going down the stretch of the regular season, final 2 games here on the slate, still gotta provide Crimson Tide Nation with the best news, notes, updates, and content on the Alabama football program. As always, the show brought to you by our good friends at WhitwillSports.com. That being Title Towel. Purchase you a couple of those towels today. Put that towel in the air and wave it like you just don't care, showing that support for Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. Going to WhitwillSports.com for a couple of those Title Towels today. Well, after discussing one, Mac Jones and the team thoroughly behind him, moving forward with Western Carolina, Auburn in the Iron Bowl next week, and hopefully this team gets into the college football playoff. But another name to keep your eyes on in terms of this offense, this team, falling on their shoulders a little bit or quite a bit would be junior running back Najee Harris. Najee Harris. And the reason why I say him is Tua Tagovailoa loves, appreciates everyone on this team, right? He has a vibe with everyone on this team. He bonded with everyone on this team. Great soul, as Jedrick Wills called him. Just full of positive spirit, as head coach Nick Saban and other players described the junior quarterback. But though he bonded with everybody, in the same way that I mentioned in the previous segment that Tua Tagovailoa grabbed the heart of Nick Saban, Najee Harris was in the heart of Tua Tagovailoa. They were the two closest on the team in terms of, both of these two were together. When you look at the high school competitions, when you're making that transition from high school to college, you're in all of these Under Armour events and Nike, the opening events, and all these different camps. Tua and Najee were together. They developed that friendship, that camaraderie, that brotherhood. And then both guys, upon them, coming to the University of Alabama, signing the letter of intent and whatnot for the 2017 class, they both came in on the same plane. Brothers came in together on the same plane. You look at, they both contributed to the 2017 College Football Playoff National Championship for the Crimson Tide. And after winning the title, Najee Harris and his mom joined Tua and the Tagovailoa family in Hawaii for, a little vacation. Najee came to Hawaii. Najee was right there, with Tua. Best friends together. And when Tua went down with the dislocated hip against the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, Najee was shaken. Najee was probably the most hurt, shook up, disappointed, grieved player on that team because that's his brother. That's his best friend that went down. And he did not want to speak to anybody after the game because that bothered him. That really, really bothered him. And I know everybody in this sense, in this juncture, is dedicating the rest of this season in their play for Tua Tagovailoa, but because of the friendship and the bond, that he and Najee had, Harris, this becomes a deeper meaning for him because he shared the backfield with his best friend. So now Najee's taking on the full ownership of, Tua's playing through me. This offense is about to play through me. Najee's about to take this a whole other step further. And he's been seriously surging and making a whole bunch of money in terms of his respective draft stock for the National Football League since the Southern Miss game. Najee Harris this season at 6'2", 230 pounds, 144 carries, 876 rushing yards. He's got 9 touchdowns. He's averaging 6.1 yards per carry, 87.6 yards per game. Since the Southern Miss matchup, which took place on September 21st, week 4 of the season at Bryant-Denny, Najee Harris, 4 100-yard games, 3 of them coming against Southeastern Conference schools, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Louisiana State University. Against the LSU Tigers, that was the matchup where he had his career high, and prior to the game, former Tide standout Sean Alexander said something to him, and it really lit a fire in the California native. Najee Harris in that game against the Tigers, 19 carries, 146 yards, had 2 total touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air. In terms of receiving, Harris, 22 catches, 266 yards, 6 touchdowns, averaging 12.1 yards per catch. Since week 4 of the season, Najee Harris has been surging. Since week 4 of the season, Harris has been making some money, big money, in terms of NFL scouts where his draft stock is concerned. But he's more so focused on putting this offense now on his back with his brother down. And his brother had a successful surgery. And Tide Nation is thrilled, relieved, happy about that, and the full recovery that Tagovailoa is going to push himself to make. Najee Harris is putting this team on his back. And while this group bought in, sold, all in, the chips are stacked to the table of Mac Jones, and they're ready to go with him, Steve Sarkisian has got to continue establishing Najee Harris in this rushing attack and taking pressure off Mac Jones. Allow him to be himself, run the offense through him. Don't change anything in terms of what you did with Tua. Continue to do those same things with Jones, while at the same time establishing Najee Harris in this run game. Having your offensive line, no. We're blocking. We got 22. We're finna let him roll. We are finna let him run through and have his way with these opposing defenses. Against Mississippi State over the weekend, last week, 88 rushing yards for him, 51 receiving yards, 4 total touchdowns. He's been on a tear. And now, this is his moment. And more so than that, you look at the comparisons between Harris and Derrick Henry are about to come full circle. Remember, 2015, Derrick Henry had to be the guy. Mind and body, he prepared himself because people did not know how healthy Kenyon Drake was going to be coming off broken leg the previous season, 2014, against Ole Miss. Derrick Henry had to carry the toll. He had to have, he put it on himself to have that responsibility to navigate the team. Now, with Tua Tagovailoa down, Najee Harris puts it on himself to navigate the team. And if he does what I believe he can do, he'll be able to put himself squarely in position to not just help the Crimson Tide get into the college football playoff and have a shot to play for national championship number 18 overall and number 6 under Nick Saban, but also put himself in the conversation to be the number one running back taken in the 2020 draft should he decide to go. Because if you look at this draft, you've got guys like Travis Etienne of Clemson, J.K. Dobbins of Ohio State, Jonathan Taylor of Wisconsin. Even in the SEC, you've got Scotty Phillips of Ole Miss, Rakeem Boyd of Arkansas, Kylan Hill of Mississippi State, Clyde Edwards-Helaire of LSU, DeAndre Swift of Georgia. You got a bunch of real talented backs in this draft. But if Najee Harris does what we know he's capable of doing, he can push himself to the forefront to be the number one back off the board in the 2020 venue, April of next year. So, Najee Harris, taking it upon himself. It's his time. Putting this offense on his shoulders and doing it for his brother, his best friend, Tua Tagovailoa. Folks, that's going to take us now to our final break here on this edition of In My Own Words, the podcast. But before we do, gotta always send a shout out to our good friends, our new sponsor, Otoro Hibachi. You're looking for delicious sushi, great hibachi, and takeout. What are you waiting for? Our friends at Otoro Hibachi are waiting on you. They are located conveniently at the University Mall Food Court in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Delivery can be found on Crimson2go and Waitr. Tell them when you walk in that the guys at Touchdown Alabama Magazine sent you. So once again, you feeling delicious sushi? You want great hibachi and takeout? You feeling an enjoyable atmosphere? Take yourself down right now and let our friends at Otoro Hibachi treat you right. As always, you download the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. Get that today for your iPhone if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you've got the Android phone. Check out the podcast options at the bottom of the screen. Subscribe to tdalabamamag.com for all the latest. And Touchdown Alabama Magazine on YouTube, the site over 6,000 subscribers strong. As always, if you have a thought, question, or concern about your Crimson Tide, don't be afraid to drop me a line at 205-259-6847. Once again, that number, 205-259-6847. We are still giving away those free shakes, courtesy of our good friends at Milo's Hamburgers in Tuscaloosa. So be that fan to send the best message and or voicemail to that number as it's on the screen. When we return from the other side of the break, we will recap Bama, Western Carolina. Don't touch that dial, folks. You've been listening to In My Own Words. What's up, college football fans? You can catch the hottest show in the streets, that being In My Own Words, the podcast, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Subscribe to Touchdown Alabama Magazine for the best in Tide football.